Hi, this is Andrew Lipke from Get the Let Out. You're listening to Rock at
Yeah, yeah. Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down, if you feel up good. Get on down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rock at Night. This is Joel Barrios, and I have the pleasure of being talking today to Andrew Lipke from the Led Zeppelin tribute band Get the Let Out. Hi, Andrew. How is it going?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. That's great to hear. It's very nice to be talking to you, and I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today on behalf of all the Rock at Night listeners.
Absolutely.
I have some questions for you, and the first and most obvious one is why Zep? Why not Sabbath or the Rolling Stones?
Well, I mean, when I joined the band had been around for 2 years. It was a little bit of a different situation because the goal of the group hadn't become as refined, and the specific approach took a little bit of while to evolve into what it is today. But when I joined, I was asked, can you fill in for these 3 days of shows? And at that point, it was already a Led Zeppelin tribute band. So honestly, I didn't have anything to do with the decision of what the music was that the band plays. But I will say, for myself, I don't know that I would have stayed around as long as I have stayed around if it wasn't for the fact that the music is very eclectic and interesting and fun to play. So it's kind of a sort of a two-part answer for me. It just happened to be that's what the band was had already chosen to perform music-wise. But it's also, I think, a big part of why it's maintained its interest for me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Andrew, your musical roots. What bands did you grow up listening to? Who you consider your influences?
I like lots of different kinds of music. My first music I found was classical music, and I still love it a lot. And spent a lot of time working within that world and with people who mainly perform that kind of music. That, and then I would say probably Pink Floyd, and then Metallica. I like John Denver a lot, and really pretty much everything in between. So I have a lot of varied influences. I definitely discovered Zeppelin and got really into Zeppelin when I first started playing guitar, which is when I was around 12, 13 years old.
I've noticed that, unlike some other Zeppelin tribute acts, you guys don't mimic or impersonate Zeppelin's live performances. Why do you guys decide to take this different approach?
Well, the approach was always to try to recreate the recordings of the music. So me joining, I was already joining a band that had 5 people in it. So there was no way to even bring that element into the approach to the show because there was already too many people. So we could have like 2 people dressed up as Jimmy Page and like 2 people dressed up as Robert Plant. It would be even sillier than if we dressed up. If there's only 4 people and we dressed up. So we knew pretty early on, in order to be able to try to recreate the music, we're going to have to be less worried about trying to create some specific kind of visual experience. Not to say that, like we just said, they're on stools and aren't engaging the audience as much as we can, but we're not doing it other than anybody but ourselves.
This was a detail that caught my attention immediately when I was doing the first research about the band, because I've seen some other acts like Led Zeppelin Experience 2, and impersonation and mimicking is always part of the show.
That's right, yep. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from people. Whatever, in this day and age, if you can find a way to have a living in the music business, God bless you. You go ahead and do it. So I don't have any judgment call on any of those shows. I don't know that I would be able to do something like that for too long of a period because it's just not in my nature to want to do that kind of a show. But yeah, that is the majority of the folks. And I mean, some respects, it's a freer approach to most of Led Zeppelin's performing career. They didn't really try to recreate their studio recordings at all. It was improvised, and they would do like 25-minute days of Confused and stuff like that. And so it opens up a whole different door of involving yourself in the performance. I think that's great. But for us, we don't do it that way. We do it just like the recording, or as close as we can get.
You guys call yourselves the American Led Zeppelin, and if you ask me, that sounds like a really bold statement. What makes you guys different? What's the story behind that name?
I don't have very much to do with that part of it. I don't really know. I know that I think that popped up and somebody called up that somewhere, and the folks who were involved in the promotional side of the band and branding of the band thought, well, that's a good thing for us to use. I don't really involve myself in that much. So I don't really, I think it's probably a tongue-in-cheek. There's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek to that, because there's bands like Ricky Floyd and Australian Pink Floyd, so I think there's probably some connection to that. And it's also, in some respects, it's a challenge to us too, to try to, people who come and are skeptical and sort of have their arms crossed and very serious faces, in the front row. Our job is to convince them that we're doing something that has integrity and is a noble effort, for Zeppelin fans. Like, we're just trying to support the music and present the music in as complete a way as possible. So I think there's like a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek and kind of like a little bit of a bravado in that terminology, but in all honesty, I don't really have anything to do with it. Just to make sure I can play the notes.
There are currently 6 members in the band, correct?
Yes, 6 guys, and then we have a guest team of vocalists for Battle of Evermore.
I am not a musician myself, but I would say that playing Zeppelin songs is a really daunting task, even more when you want to keep up with the original standards the songs were recorded with. Do you guys add your own small variations here and there, like for example in the solos, or you do your best to keep it as close as possible to the originals?
As close as possible. Especially the solos.
Especially the solos.
Yeah, especially the solos, because that's like a lot of, like people are going to be playing air guitar and like they're going to want, I remember I had an experience. I would say growing up, I was a bigger Pink Floyd fan than I was a Zeppelin fan. But I know every little tiny nuance to the David Gilmour solos on most Pink Floyd songs. And if I go and see a band that's playing Pink Floyd music, I want to hear every little guitar, every little nuance. I want the band to be just so, and I want this to be just exactly the same. Because I know it. So if you change it, I'm going to know that you changed it. So our goal is to make it so that the person is waiting for us to miss that one little thing, and we don't, and that's and the solos are important because people really know those solos. So there's a lot of times guitar players in the audience who work through and learn every little nuance of the solo, and they want to hear it exactly right. So our goal is to do it exactly right. We don't always pull it off, but we do the best we can to do it each time. But we don't improvise anything. I probably have the most minor moments of improvisation because a lot of times in the actual mix, it's hard to hear specifically what the keyboards are doing, especially with things like Since I'm Loving You or something like that, where there's a lot of keyboard activity, and it's hard to hear all the information. But anything that you can hear and you can hear the specifics of, I try to replicate.
So considering that, is there any Zeppelin song you guys have never performed live due to complexity or any other factors?
Nothing due to complexity, but there are some that we haven't performed, like The Crunch and Carousel Alhambra, Boogie with Stu. I think there's like maybe 6 songs that we haven't done. The one song we don't do, or at least that we haven't done, which we might do at some point. But one song we haven't done is not due to complexity, but I think it's due to just the nature of the song and the approach that we have. It's almost like it feels like it might be counterproductive to the vibe of the song as you should. But that's just basically, like a 10-minute guitar solo. And so to like note by note that guitar solo, it might take a little bit of the looseness out of that whole song. But we'll probably end up trying to do it at some point.
Have you guys ever thought of doing cover songs from different bands like Lynyrd Skynyrd or Black Sabbath?
I mean, I was in a wedding band for a while. Yeah, sure. When I was in wedding band, we play whatever. And then I stopped doing cover music for a long time, and then started doing this project 10 years ago.
Aside from the Zeppelin universe, has it ever crossed your mind to push the boundaries of what you have done so far and go in a different direction, creating some original music as a band?
I haven't really, because I do a lot of original music myself. You know, I release my own records and I produce records. And I do arrangements for original artists, string arrangements, orchestral arrangements, and a whole mix of different things. So for me, I don't feel anything missing from my creative life doing this. And I don't feel like this is replacing anything. I just feel like it's a really great job. And then I spend plenty of other time working on original music of various kinds. So if I was going to do original music, I wouldn't want to do it with this group, because this group, I get plenty of satisfaction playing music with this group. It just happens to be Led Zeppelin music. But once again, like that music tends to maintain its interest. It's pretty wild stuff.
So apart from being a member of Get the Let Out, you have like a vast musical universe surrounding you.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. Lots of different stuff.
Is there something like your proudest moment as a musician? I know that's a tricky one.
That's intense. I did an orchestral arrangement that was premiered at the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Philharmonic. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment. And I just had a premiere with the Chamber Orchestra Philadelphia. I performed with them. That happened like 3 weeks ago. That was a pretty amazing moment. But you know, my career has yet to be defined. I still feel like there's some defining moments out there.
Andrew, what would you consider that is, musically speaking, still in your bucket list?
I haven't done much performance in Europe or other countries. I feel much more a citizen of the world than I do of this particular country. So I would love to be able to have an international career of some sort. So that would be something that would be great to experience if it's on if it's in the horizon.
I totally agree with you. Having the opportunity of playing in Europe would expand your career way further. Andrew, is there any musical idol of yours you would like to have the chance to play with?
Not really. Like I would more enjoy the idea of working with people. So it would be great to do work with Quincy Jones or work with I don't know that I would want to work with Radiohead. I feel like I might, but I don't think I would actually want to work with them as artistically. But I would just love to work with some of the people who I would love to work with Beck. I would love to see what it's like to be working with Beck in a studio. I would say, I'd pick Beck right now.
Depending on the person that you're speaking to, this next one could be a tough one or a really easy one. Let's see how it goes with you. What is the first record that you ever bought? And what is your all-time favorite record and why?
I think the first record I ever bought was Master of Puppets by Metallica. And I think my favorite record of all time is that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Probably maybe Abbey Road.
That's a very good one. If you ask me, I would say Dark Side of the Moon, but Abbey Road is close there.
Yeah, I would say I was actually thinking Dark Side of the Moon. So you and I have some. Yeah, but I would say I would say Abbey Road is just so superlative in every way.
When I knew that I was going to interview you, I did a little bit of research about you, and I found out that besides like working with this band, Get the Let Out, you also produce, you compose, you are a performer, an educator. How do you find time to do all of this and at the same time play with the band?
I don't sleep too much.
I gotta be honest, it is nothing short of astonishing how many things you're into, how many things you're doing at the same time, playing with symphonic orchestras, singing, producing dozens of records. I mean, I'm lightheaded already.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. That's the simplest answer and is the most profound one. You love it and you enjoy what you do, and that explains everything. Andrew, do you have any final words that you want to share with our listeners?
Thanks for your interest in the band, and if you're curious, come see the show.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Rock at Night. You guys are playing tomorrow here in Fort Lauderdale at the Culture Room, and
Yeah, I like that.
I really invite everyone to show up and enjoy 2 extremely great hours of performances of the timeless music of Led Zeppelin. I will be there. Thank you very much, Andrew, one more time, and take care.
All right, take care, man.
Bye bye.